Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So Bitcoin's most recent weekly candle close was exceptionally bullish, priming the next retest of 69,000 for a bullish breakout. However, on the short time frame charts, the bulls continue to struggle against the next and most final level of resistance at 65,000. So let's dive into the charts today to talk about in detail the recent developments on the short time frame and how they map out exactly what we need for Bitcoin to have a bullish continuation here. Moving on to altcoins, let's talk about the 6-month-long recent downtrend and how that is about to break. Before we get into all that though, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram for daily updates as well as crypto and economic news. And if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so diving right into the weekly chart here, let's go ahead and talk about our most recent weekly candle close. As you guys can see here, the most recent close was at about 63,500 and it was following two very bullish weeks of price action over here. So September, the month so far has been very bullish, and I think no small credit to the recent pivot in interest rates, which are expected to continue for the rest of the year. So what we can see here on the weekly time frame is our most recent weekly candle close has pushed this RSI over here, which is our momentum indicator, our relative strength index, above the 6-month-long downtrend that we created over the last 6 months long of sideways consolidation, or this consolidation that we've had within this sort of descending channel slash bear bull flag pattern. So what this close means now on the macro charts is that because of this push upwards in momentum and this very bullish weekly candle close, that in this next retest of our range high over here, the corresponding range high with the same downtrend as we have here on the RSI, the next retest of $69,000, this upper trendline resistance, has a much higher probability of breaking us out of this channel of consolidation and seeing a bullish continuation, at least, to the range high or into that next liquidity zone here in the weekly time frame than we have previously had in the last 6-month period. So the market is hot, it is primed to move at this point in time. We are now just waiting for this next retest. That begs the question now, what do we need to see here to facilitate or to trigger a bullish continuation here for Bitcoin on the shorter time frame and take us to $69,000? Moving over onto our daily chart then, we have our next and most final level of resistance here mapped out for us, and that is sitting from $64,000 to $65,000. We know it is a level of resistance because of this prior rejection we had here in the failed bullish continuation to a range high all the way back here in August, and also historically that level at 64,000 has acted as a base of resistance, wherein breaking above we generally see a range high retest. It is really that last level of resistance here before we go on to retest $69,000. So what this most recent development here on the daily time frame, being this sort of downtrend symmetrical triangle pattern or structure, tells us is that breaking above this prior high here in the downtrend, we can assume or expect a bullish continuation upon establishing this upper level as a base of support, a bullish continuation to retest the range high of that structure in that downtrend being $70,000, which takes the price of Bitcoin to break out of this 6-month-long downtrend here and move up to retest, that next horizontal level of significance. And breaking above 70,000, Bitcoin moves into this next sort of range of liquidity here from $72,000 to $73,000, where we go on to retest the range or the all-time high for Bitcoin. So lots of very bullish price action here, and all of that starts off with a bullish break above $65,000. So let's dive into the really short time frame charts and talk about some recent developments here that we've had that map out exactly what Bitcoin needs to do in order to see that break and how you can look out for it. Before we dive into any more analysis, guys, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, BitUnex, where you can get 15% off all of your trading fees and up to $5,500 in sign-up rewards by creating your free account using the link down in my description box. BitUnex is an emerging cryptocurrency exchange committed to providing you with a secure, convenient, and highly functional trading and investment platform. Available across all countries as a non-KYC exchange, get global access to over 150 trading pairs with minimal fees on both spot and futures contracts. Join today to get $5,500 in sign-up rewards and get 15% off all of your trading fees by signing up using the link in my bio or by using the code 1GG3 when you create your account. So if we go on ahead and take a look at the hourly chart, we can see sort of what we need for both a bullish continuation or a bearish correction really easily mapped out here for us. So that level of resistance that we have at 65,000 has a little bit of nuance, right? So if we go over to the 4-hour chart really quickly, I can just quickly explain. Previously, when we had that retest of $65,000 within that downtrend over here that led to a correction, what we essentially had to do before retesting 65K was first establish support here on the short time frame at 63,800. It was that first establishment of support at that key level there that led to a bullish continuation to retest 65,000. Unfortunately, over here we had a double top and then we ended up rejecting, but it kind of maps out now on the 4-hour chart over here what we need to see. So we need to first break above 63,800, which facilitates a bullish continuation into this next level of resistance here, mapped out by liquidity swings indicator, that that upper liquidity zone at 64,300 to 65K, and in closing above that level and continue on with this 63K as a base of support, moving up to 65 and so on and so forth. So if we take a look and zoom in on the hourly chart, we can see that over the last couple of days, Bitcoin has been consolidating sideways within our short time frame base of support established here from 62.5 to 63,000 and that 63.8K level of resistance, that really key resistance that we must establish and continue to hold as a base of support. So on Monday, after we had that weekly candle close, we did see a little bit of that really bullish price action. So Bitcoin ended up closing above 63.8 here on the hourly chart, which facilitated a move, like I said, right into that next range, right into that liquidity zone. However, upon retesting that level of resistance and failing to break above, we also failed to continue to hold 63.8 as a base of support, pushing Bitcoin back into this range of consolidation. So in order to see that bullish continuation on the short time frame, we need to first establish it as a base of support, push into $65,000 and continue to hold it as a base of support. So that tells us that Bitcoin will start to consolidate within this upper sort of level or these upper ranges of resistance. And upon building strength there within that next range of consolidation, push above $65,000, wherein if we close above that level on a 4-hour time frame, we can expect a bullish continuation that takes us into the range high here of our macro descending channel structure. So conversely, if we want to take a look at the bearish case scenario, that is again very, very clear when we take a look at the most recent segment of short time frame price action. So if we fall below our level of short time frame support from 62.6 to 62.5, and specifically below sell side liquidity for that level of support at 62,300, we can expect a bearish continuation here to fall down to retest that next level of significance. Now that is a really key level, guys. It's at 61,800. It ranges down to 61,200, but essentially it coincides with a key structure that we have here on the 4-hour chart, being our 2-week long uptrend, right? We've established this uptrend, I think on the 7th of September. Let me check. Yes, 7th of September after the range low retest here at 52,500 over here. And essentially what it tells us, if we reject from this sort of upper range of resistance here and fall below our uptrend, is that the sellers or the bears are taking control of the short time frame narrative, pushing the price below its level of shorter time frame supports and below this 2-week long uptrend. So that would be quite a big warning sign then. And falling below this level here at $61,200 is when Bitcoin goes into fall below really key levels that we have here on the daily chart as well, that being our midline level of support, right? This massive sort of diagonal level that has been really significant throughout this entire 6-month period. As you can see, breaking below, we generally get range low retest. Breaking above, we get range high retest. So falling below that level at 61.2K, the next level of support we have here on the short time frame takes us below the midline. It also risks us falling back into this daily chart downtrend over here and into that symmetrical triangle formation. So a failed breakout is what we would see if we reject from that 65K level of resistance and fall below $61,200. So all of that can be sort of mapped out, and I guess you can watch out for all of this by taking a look at how Bitcoin reacts to this horizontal level of consolidation. So currently, if we do take a look, Bitcoin isn't looking all that great. We can see the last two retests of that upper range of resistance here from at 63,000 and 64,000 has resulted in some bearish divergence here on the hourly chart. So we are seeing, this push upwards without real strength and momentum. So we aren't going to see those breakthroughs of this upper level of resistance just yet. And until we sort of break above that trend line here on the hourly chart, we can expect that momentum continues to shift in that negative trajectory. Zooming into the 15-minute chart to take another closer look at that most recent correction from $64,000, we can see that as Bitcoin moves into this base of support at 62,600, what we need to see for a bounce on support here is a break above this momentum downtrend. So that leading indicator, that's going to tell us that the buyers are stepping in to, push back and take control of the shorter time frame segment of price action that we have here, and take us back into a retest of this range high within our really small time frame horizontal channel. However, while Bitcoin continues to consolidate within that sort of range, so between 62,600 and between 63,800, there is really not much price action of significance. This is very neutral top over here. I do not care if Bitcoin goes up and down within this range. I mean, I wouldn't say 100 times, but maybe like another 2 or 3 times. Obviously that would be pretty annoying, but it's a tradable range. And, while it's a tradable range, it's a profitable range. And, Bitcoin can consolidate for a little while. We've had a very bullish last 2 weeks, a very bullish rally recently. And even though Bitcoin's not going up, the rest of the market is. So altcoins are still looking very strong. So I'll talk about them in just a moment, but let me just quickly summarize everything that I've said here on these shorter time frame charts. So essentially, while we hold 62,500 and particularly that sell side liquidity level, things are looking still high time frame bullish. We've continued to hold this level of support that can facilitate a bullish continuation into and above this level of resistance here to go on to retest $65,000, wherein upon establishing support at 63,800, we can expect some sort of consolidation leading to a bullish break because of what we can see developing on the macro charts. Now, conversely, falling below at that level there, that is when things start to look bearish, particularly when we fall below the next level of significance here at 61,800, ranging down to 61,200, where we fall below our short time frame uptrend. And that is when things are seriously looking bearish. Above here, very bullish, naturally. Right? Okay, so let's move over onto altcoins and talk about the total altcoin market cap and Bitcoin dominance. So with Bitcoin only one resistance away from what could become a very bullish segment of price action, the altcoin market is similarly primed for what could become a huge breakout. So over here on the last 6 months of price action for altcoins, we have seen a downtrend, right? I'm pretty sure everyone who's been in the market would know about it, and it has been a very gradual, well, in some cases quite steep, but a very continuous downtrend here over the last 6 months. And initially, the altcoin market was sort of consolidating in what we would call a very similar sort of descending channel structure, where it was to some degree bullish, right? It was a bull flag pattern. But in the last couple of months of price action, the altcoin market started to bottom out at this level here at $530 billion and forming what was more likely to become a descending triangle structure, where if we saw altcoins dip below this $530 billion level, we were going to see a much larger correction, being the height of that triangle, and take us down about 20% to retest this lower level support. So for altcoins, that would be exceptionally bearish, right? A lot of altcoins were already at very high time frame levels of support here, and some of them had even reached all-time lows, right? Particularly like small cap coins and so on and so forth. But what we can see from the most recent couple of weeks of price action from the 7th of September is that altcoins have rallied quite hard to retest that upper trend line here that we have been in for the last 6-month period. Once again, this is the first time we've gotten that range high retest of the trend line since June. So we've seen a massive shift in strength here. And if we manage to see altcoins break, what we can expect is a move on to retest the prior high within that downtrend at $663 billion. So that would would mean, a 10% increase in the altcoin market cap. And all of that really does, I think, hinge on what Bitcoin does next. So extending on from that conversation about the relationship between Bitcoin and altcoins, if we go on ahead and take a look at Bitcoin dominance, we can see that it is approaching a really important pivotal point in Bitcoin dominance. So 57 to 60%. So historically, 57 to 60 has acted as a really strong level of resistance. We're breaking above 60%. We generally see a really massive shift in Bitcoin and altcoin dynamics, where Bitcoin dominance starts to really increase, and the performance of altcoins starts to shift downwards. And then over here in 2021, when we had our bull run, between that March to May period, it was falling below 57%, that we saw altcoins start to really aggressively outperform Bitcoin. We saw altcoins do 10x, 100x, and that marked the altcoin season. So in our most recent 2 years of price action, we can see that after bottoming out here at 39-40% for Bitcoin dominance, we have seen a continuous uptrend here that has started to plateau out over the last 6-month period. We've seen this curve sort of go more sideways as we approach that 57 to 60% sort of really pivotal point in Bitcoin dominance. This is really important because as we approach this sort of level of resistance and Bitcoin is poised to, potentially rally quite aggressively here in breaking out of the consolidation range, and total 3 is similarly poised to have a really large breakout here. What we might see is a very slight shift upwards in Bitcoin dominance as Bitcoin rallies initially, and then a rejection from that 60% level. That is worst case scenario. Even if we even go to 60%, it might not make it all the way up to 60%, before finally falling below this 2-year-long uptrend here and seeing a massive shift in Bitcoin dominance in falling back below 57%. So when we start to see that, we can expect that altcoins start to really aggressively rally and particularly outperform Bitcoin. Alrighty guys, that is all the analysis that I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram for daily updates as well as crypto and economic news. And if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. And if you are a trader, don't forget to sign up down below to BitUnext to get 15% off all of your trading fees. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!